The Ultimate Safari by Nadine Gordimer. The Ultimate Safari, written by Nadine Gordimer, is a short story that explores the realities of war, displacement, and survival in Southern Africa. The story, from the perspective of environmental criticism, analyzes the relationship between humans and nature, showing nature as a place of danger. During the journey, the refugees are forced to live like animals, revealing the dehumanization caused by war and showing nature as a refuge rather than a dangerous place. As you can see in these parts here. While we were waiting for her to fetch us, our grandmother had no food for us, no food for our grandfather and herself. In that village, we met other people who were also going away. We joined them because they seemed to know where that was better than we did.
Especially during the crossing of Kruger National Park. The child connects animal behavior to human behavior, such as their organization in groups, the search for water and food, and the care for their young. Seeing the elephants, she said, the babies laid against their mothers, they almost grown up once western like my firstborn brother with his friends. Also, she mentions this situation. We followed the animals to where they drank. When they had gone, we went to their water holes. Throughout the text, the girl and the group were living under constant danger. Ironically, although Kruger National Park is home to wild animals, it becomes a relatively safer refuge than the war they are fleeing, suggesting that human violence is more destructive than the dangers of nature. The child put animals and the people as predators. She said that we would be alone in this place. The Kruger Park, the police, or the animals would fight us.
Nature here is not a superficial space. In the ultimate safari, nature operates according to its own logic, forcing the refugees to adapt to its rhythms and dangers, exposing an ecological injustice where white elites can have fun at the National Park, while the black refugees are stripped of their dignity. This colonial logic assigns greater value to the protection of wildlife than to the lives of black refugees, contribute, contributing to their dehumanization. Therefore, it is a geopolitical weapon created by the wealthy. And here are some examples that show humanization. Police wardens would come and send us back where we came from. He said we must move like animals among the animals. I wanted to lie down like the lions. If they helped us, they would lose their work. If they saw us, all they could do was pretend we were not there. They had seen only animals. The title is ironic. The expression "the ultimate safari" suggests an exciting and exclusive tourist experience. However, in the story, the safari is not about leisure but about survival, while tourists visit Kruger National Park for entertainment. The refugees cross it because they have no other choice. In this context, ultimate no longer means the best safari, but the most extreme experience of survival. And here are some of the ironies. Sometimes we stopped to sleep for a little while at night. We heard lions very near, not groaning loudly the way they did far off. So everyone waited for our grandfather to catch up, but he didn't.
Gordimer uses the safari setting to question what truly separates humans from animals when survival becomes the main goal. The dehumanization is reflected when, for example, the animals in the park are better protected than the refugees themselves. The park is fenced, guarded, and regulated to protect the wildlife, but human beings fleeing war get little protection or compassion. The refugees fear being attacked by wild animals, but the greatest danger actually comes from humans themselves. This creates a powerful contrast. Animals kill to survive, while humans create war, violence, and systems that dehumanize other people.
From the perspective of environment criticism, nature in the story does not function merely as a background, but as an active force in the refugees' survival. While government create borders, violence, and exclusion, the natural environment provides water, food, and temporary shelter. For example, the narrator says, "We ate some wild fruit we didn't know from home," showing that the refugees depend on nature for food. The grandmother also teaches the children how to survive by using nature's resources, even sacrificing her own possessions to secure water. She sold her shoes to buy a big plastic container for water. Gordimer also breaks the idea that humanity and nature are separate, since the character completely depend on the environment to stay alive. Ironically, nature becomes more ethical and compassionate than human society itself, which rejects and dehumanizes the refugees. The Kruger Park fence becomes a central symbol of the environmental criticism present in the story. It separates tourists and protected animals from starving refugees trying to survive. As the guide explains, "We had to take a long way to get around the fence. It would kill you, roast off your skin the moment you touched it," emphasizing how the fence represents political borders, exclusion, and human control. The story also criticizes anthropocentrism by showing the irony that animals inside the park receive more protection than the human beings outside. This irony is reinforced when the narrator says, "If they saw us, all they could do was pretend we were not there. They had seen only animals," highlighting the refugees' dehumanization. Furthermore, Godman subverts the traditional idea of safari, usually associated with leisure and adventure. In the ultimate safari, the safari becomes a journey of suffering, displacement, and survival.
Nadine Gordimer's The Ultimate Safari portrays nature as a space with its own agency, requiring Black refugees to adapt to its conditions while exposing the limits of anthropocentric assumptions. Through the ironic contrast between tourists and refugees, the story reveals how race, class, and colonial legacy shape different experience of the same landscape, rather than presenting nature as the source of suffering. Gordimer shows that hunger, displacement, and vulnerability are consequences of political and historical structures. Ultimately, the story invites readers to reflect on how natural spaces are shaped not only by ecological forces but also by power, inequality, and human conflict.